Hello there. Thanks for watching or listening. VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast, episode 164. You're either watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes or Spotify. Don't matter where. It's just fantastic you're giving us a listen. You know me, Steve. You know John Evans in the bottom there. And at the top, you know he's the chief of VIP. We get him on twice a year at start and end of seasons in boxing. But he's been having to come off the subs bench more often than not, replacing one of his boxers tonight, Jodie Wilkinson, who's running around getting blood tests and all sorts done before her fight next week. She just couldn't find the time. But she's going to come on and have a chat about the league show next week, hopefully with Josh Warrington. But Steve Wood's joined us tonight. You okay, Woody?
Well, all right. My nickname now is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm super sub. So I'm not prepared as normal for this one, but I think we've all got some good subjects here, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for coming off the bench.
I'm going to start calling him Peter Buckley, Steve, like the old journeyman coming in on 24 hours notice.
24 hours notice, yeah, the journeyman, mate. I tell you what, when I got home from that show,
Steve Razak.
When I got home from the Bolton show that went on to about 10:12 the other night, I felt like a journeyman did after 4 fights in 4 weeks. But it was a good show, and we're going to talk about it. Yes, you're okay, Woody. Anything else you want to add, Woody, that's not on a topic that needs to be said?
No, let's get on with it, because I think, as I say, there's some good topics here, isn't there? I think we can have a little bit of
right.
And a bit of arguments with this one, so let's crack on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think we'll argue on this. You ready with your little clock, John, and we'll race through these 6 rounds?
My little what?
Your little clock and your bell and
all.
Ready
to go, yeah.
Something else, you dirty man. It's clock on a Monday night, and you're thinking, oh dear. This,
ready to go.
Family view. Right, round 1. Kane Gardner versus the Ginger Rocket, Jamie Robinson. VIP show, Bolton, Saturday night. It should certainly, I'm biased. You can say I'm biased, but that has to be on the short list for any fight of the year. It wasn't a World War III, but it was such a good quality fight. Jamie Robinson doing things we never see him do before, usually a warmonger. Kane Gardner, brilliant with his jab. Just a fight. And what I love more than anything, even in the 10th round, they wasn't tired. But I also felt that they were showing that they were still fainting, picking their shots. Kane's jab was fantastic. Kane Gardner, one of the most underrated fighters in Britain. Nobody wants to fight him. Just hope the Commonwealth Council now make him a final eliminator or mandatory. The referee, Jamie Kirkpatrick, I think he had it 97, 93 or 94. I had it level on rounds with a knockdown making a difference. But what a fight. What a fight. And small hall classic. Steve?
Listen, I said at the start when you made the fight, Steve, it was probably too good of a fight to put on a small hall show, but both kids were in the same position where they weren't getting a break, were they? So, they took the options to do it on my show. And to be fair to Kane Gardner, he did get offered a big payday in a couple of weeks' time, but because he'd committed to this, he stuck with it, because Jamie Robinson had just been let down, and he was talking about quitting, wasn't he? So we thought we can't kick him in the teeth again, and it was fantastic. I was doing the comms with Lee Whitehead, and it was embarrassing for me, because 5 of the 10 rounds, I had to say it's a 10-10. I can't split them. And when you're looking at referees, and I said it to the referee on the night, I went, wow. I went, that must have been hard for you to score. I said, it was 5 rounds I couldn't split. He went, well, they don't like you doing that, do they? So I had to make my mind up. He said, but you're right, there was some really, really close rounds, and I can echo what you said. What a fantastic fight, and hopefully I'm going to get it on a bigger platform from the VIP for a few people to watch it, because it deserves to be seen by more people than saw it on Saturday night.
Yeah, very hard fight for Jamie to score. Very, very couldn't have been a harder fight to score this year for a referee. John, did you see it? Or?
Yeah, brilliant fight. I thought Kane's jab was fantastic, wasn't it? Really good. And I was so pleased for Kane. Since that Piers O'Leary fight, where I don't really think he did himself justice, did he? He didn't really get going, but he's been so dedicated, waiting for an opportunity, and for that to pop up against Jamie Robinson. You know, on a small show, it's not an easy fight to take. And for him to come through it and put himself in the picture for big fights, I was really pleased for him there. Really, really good fight as well. Good quality fight. Should have been on TV.
Yeah. Round 2 over to you, John, and gone from a man who won't say a word to a bit of a bad boy, Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, I love the new Daniel Dubois. I know everyone's talking about what he's like in the ring, where he suddenly seems to have developed a chin and turned into this unstoppable robot where he just keeps coming. But I like him outside. You'll have dealt with him, Steve, while you're working for Box Nation, and I have. And it used to be like getting blood out of a stone, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was really difficult to do anything with Daniel. But these days, he just seems to say exactly what he thinks. He says it directly to the face, doesn't back down. And I've even seen him where they're doing these little daft things where they say, what would your favourite meal be? What's your favourite holiday resort? And when he's had enough of answering the questions, he just says cut and stops answering them. Absolutely doesn't seem to care anything about what anyone seems to think of him anymore. And I really like it. I'm glad he's finally coming out of himself.
Yeah, it's good because, look, as you say, I did a lot of it at Box Nation. You know, you're being sent to do Daniel Dubois, you'd sort of... I went to the Peacock Lows to see him. And a nice guy, but I remember once, I think I've said on here, I once spoke to him on the phone about boxing, and he said, I don't really know anyone. And he said, I better start improving on the heavyweight division. Just reluctant. But you know what? He's got a lot of stick after Joyce, some after Usyk. He's matured also as a man. Don't forget, we were talking 6-7 years ago about him. You know, he was a teenager still. A boy, he's now a 26-year-old man, John. You know, so I think that he's maturing as a person, and the attitude's developed. But I think imagine if they got that out of him 6 years ago when Frank wanted him in. I know the story about when he went to some media training and with a few of the Frank Warren fighters, and he just there just wasn't there. There was people like Jack Hacknell there, superb, trying to pick it up. But Daniel just, wasn't rude or anything. There just was no interest in that side of it. But he's developed. How do you find him, Steve? Do you know him at all?
I remember him making his debut, and it was on the undercard of one of Teddy Flanagan's world title fights. And the press conference was in the Man City training stadium, and
I remember that, yeah.
Walked in, and the place went dark. Big, 18-year-old lump. Look at him, wouldn't say anything. I don't even think he'd have a cup of tea waiting and all that. And at the time, I don't even recall the rumours were going out, but he'd already chinned Joshua in sparring. Yeah. And people were trying to get him to say, yeah, it was me, but he wasn't saying anything. And they just couldn't get anything out of him. And it's mad to think that probably 7 years on now, that he is fighting Joshua. And I still don't think the actual said that, yeah, he did do him or not. But, I mean, we've all heard it outside of it, haven't we, that allegedly he did. But, no, it's a good fight, him and Joshua now, whereas, before, after the fight with Joyce, everyone was thinking that, he was just an on-top bully. But no, I've liked him since the start. And when he beat the lad who was with Ricky Hatton, I was down there in London, forget what he's called now, and he smashed him to pieces. Pardon?
Nathan Gorman.
Nathan Gorman, yeah, and there's big things going on about Nathan and no Ricky, and everyone really fancied that fight. But no, it was a one-sided fight, and the new Dubois in the ring, out of the ring, yeah, good for boxing, and it's nice that you've got a 26-year-old in with the big heavyweights because they're all a lot older, aren't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if he did knock out Joshua in sparring, and I've no idea whether he did or not, they'll certainly let you know fight week when they're selling the pay-per-view. Yeah. Round 3 over to you, Steve. Ryan Garcia and his bang.
Yeah, well, this is something that I was thinking about the other week at Bolton when Lyndon Arthur fought Liam Cameron, and how well Liam Cameron's done to come back from where a drug ban from the British Boxing Board of Control ruined his life, and not just his boxing career, but he's come back from what I believe was a 4-year ban for some cocaine outside of a fighting thing. You know what I mean? It was in his personal time. He had no scheduled fight, and he got 4 years. And then you saw Garcia getting a year last week, and then he was like saying, "Well, I've had a year." He got 2 years. Canelo got 6 months, and I'm just thinking, you know. I'm a great believer you've got to be strong on these, but let's get some reality check where this Garcia one is just a little bit the same. You don't want $1 billion for this. Okay, 1 year might be fine with that, but they should have it that degraded, really. I mean, you know, you could be harsh and say, whatever it is, that's it, you're done, you can't fight. But if they're going to say you're getting 1 year, 2 years, 3 year bans, my personal feeling is that you should grade them into like the substances they are and the amount of it, and just say any of this, that's what you're getting. You're getting 2 years for this, you're getting 3 years for that. And certain substances, certainly second offences, that should be over and done with. I was just thinking, if you lads had an opinion on that.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the year ban, I think it should be minimum 2 years for everything straight away. Just 2 year ban. I mean, 1 year ban, it's not going to hurt him. He's got a great social media following. The comeback's going to be bigger than what any fight after Devin Haney was going to be. 1 year ban. He's lost out on one fight in his career. That's all. It's hardly going to affect him at all. There'll be a big question mark asterisk next to his career, but it isn't going to stop with what his earning potential at all. So it's barely going to hurt him, Steve. John?
Yeah, I think it should be 2 years minimum and 2 strikes and you're out. You know, if you get caught cheating a second time, that should be it. You should be done. But the worry I had when I saw 1 month, and it's one year backdated, isn't it, from the date of a fight? So he's already well into it. These big name fighters now, we only fight once or twice a year. They might just weigh it up and say, oh, it's worth the risk. You know, if I get caught, I'll only get 10 months, say, pay a little bit out my purse and just crack on the next year.
That's it, because someone like, you know, the athletic commissions, governing bodies making so much from their fighters. It's no good having Garcia to there. It's not going to up their bank balances, him out of action for 3 years.
No.
Totally
yeah,
wrong. It's a problem.
Don't you think he should be graded? Because it's not fair that he's only getting 12 months and Liam Cameron got 4 years for a bit of cocaine out.
4 years is ridiculous. Look, I'm not defending Liam Cameron, but 4 years for a cocaine that's hardly going to help the performance.
Well, the thing about that is that while he was serving his ban, he downgraded the ban for cocaine to 6 months. So Liam Cameron got 4 years, and while he was serving his 4 years, he made the offence 6 months.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really like that downgrading, but what I'm saying is graded.
How about that?
I accept a 2 year minimum. I accept 2 strikes and you're out. But what I'm saying is certain things should be more than a 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or whatever. But
something like human growth hormone or something like that.
HGH that's going to, raise
something like that should be like 4 years straight away, like an Olympic athlete. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Round 4, Steve. I'm starting it, but it's going to be for you to say here, Steve. We've got the big VIP show in Leeds, July 13, the John Charles Centre for Sport. I think it's near Ellen Road. Great bill. You know, Travis Walters in an 8-rounder. Jake Abril, Levi Barnes, showing what they can do, what they're about to talk to people who watch on the Talk Sport YouTube platform. And Bradley Ray before he has a big fight. Debut of Jody Wilkinson, Hash Rahman, Jake Goodwin coming back. A great show, but you've got Josh Warrington as you're promoting it with you, Steve. Tell us about that. You go back to day one with Josh.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows Josh, don't they? And I think they all know VIP promotions, but I've never been one for like jumping in the limelight. You don't see me jumping up and down the rings and things like that, and certainly doing press conferences and, you know, selling the shows. But, you know, since we've had an investor in this, the start of this year, he's got aspirations, and I've got him with him to like move on to TV shows. And so I think Josh will be able to do that promoter's role. And also from my point of view, as I'm getting a bit older and wearing down, I don't want to be like Bob Adam, having to use the the cannabis to keep me going. I I think he can do a good manager's role as well, because he's come through the small holes to the top of the tree, world champion, selling stadiums out. And so he knows all the aspects of it. He's got a good eye for the boxing. He always asks him for advice on certain fights. So, from my point of view, I'm going to bring him in to come through. And I think he'll do a good job. I mean, I don't want him to be like the other promoters who sell you a lemonade and tell you it's a champagne, but I do want him to come in and start building our brand up to be bigger than where he is, and then hopefully get some sort of TV deal. And what a better place but for Leeds, for the Leeds Body Promotions, to do a co-promotion with VIP and get going. As you say, we've got a good card, which we've had to switch it around the last few days because we've had 3 of the local people pull out. But for Josh, that's how boxing is. He's got a big fight on the line now, so we can't be putting too much pressure on him.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think it needs that VIP now, Steve? You're pushing for TV, to have someone who can sit at press conferences, be in the ring at fight night, be sitting in the front row watching all the fights. Whereas yourself, you're usually doing like Bolton the other night. I think did you watch a fight apart from the main one?
I ended up commentating on that one, didn't I? But yeah, the others, I got glimpses of him, but it was one of those nights where things needed tucking in place, which you've got to do on the small hall shows. So no, definitely we need a bigger front man than me, and obviously Josh is the man for it. Yeah,
he's done everything, Josh, as well, hasn't he? He's been involved when it comes to selling shows. He's sold out home shows where he's carried it. He's been involved in big rivalries. He's come from the small to the top. He's seen every single level. He's been involved in selling every type of fight, every type of event. There couldn't be anyone better placed. I don't think anyone's probably served a better apprenticeship, have they, than Josh Warrington?
And he's astute as well. He sits in the business meetings with me. He comes to see accounts with me. He's been fortunate to earn some good money, and he's looked after it really well. And his wife is a chef, and nutritionally wise, he knows what to do. And obviously, he's gone from doing his own strength and conditioning to having someone in the university who's a professor looking after him on that. So the knowledge that he's built that he can pass on to the young kids as well is going to be like really, really useful for them. And that's what I want to do with him as well. Get him round, managing the kids, speaking to him, and being someone on the phone that anyone who signs to VIP Promotions know where to go for some guidance.
Yeah, brilliant. Over to you, John Evans, for round 5. Tyler Denny. You said Stamy is showing an example of what you can do. He's run a
what an example Tyler Denny is to the majority of fighters in this country. 19, 2 losses, 3 draws, and the vast majority of those losses and draws came right at the start of his career. Now, I bet at one point Tyler was 10-2-3, but he just kept plugging away, took the risk of going full time, packing in the plumbing, and what a rise. He's been in the away corner every time, but he's never said no to a challenge. He's trusted his ability. He's turned over unbeaten fighters. He's turned over favoured prospects. Last Saturday against Felix Cash, best performance of his career. I thought he dominated that from start to finish against a real good fighter. And all of a sudden, here he is at Wembley Stadium against one of the hottest prospects in the world. And it's just a perfect example of, if you don't give up, if you stick at it and you trust your ability, you can do anything. The breaks will come, and then it's just up to you to take the chances. And Tyler's done it.
And he goes to Wembley, he'll be getting well paid, and I don't want to call it a free hit, but no one's expecting anything from him yet again. I mean, it's crazy how he's gone on. Derek Asazi was a very, very good win. That 3-4 years ago. Brad Paul's in, of course, Bradley Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, like you just said then, John, he's easy to walk away, isn't he? And there's situations within him and a lot of other fighters where it would have been easy to walk away. And then next thing, but you can keep at it for 2 or 3 years afterwards, and then all of a sudden the door opens and you're earning good money, and he'll be set up for life now after the few fights he's had on this big one that's coming at Wembley. And What a nice story. He seems a really nice kid, and it's nice that he's gone away and fought people that he's unexpected to win, and he's won, and it's all come round and it's turned for him. And there's things I was thinking about the other night. I mean, I'm not saying it's the same way, but like Jazza Dickens had another fight the other day, and he's obviously looking for something to come through. But he could have give up a couple of times, but you know, he absolutely loves boxing, isn't it? Jack Massa, you know, he's had it hard, hasn't he? You know what I mean? And it'd have been easy for him to walk away and get a job, but he's stuck at it, and he's European champion, and there's probably 20 or 30 of them knocking about, that you could say, and a lot more down the line. But
Steve, has there ever been anyone who has walked away you tried persuading to stick with it because you thought we could still have done something?
No, because I wouldn't do that, because I think it's one of those sports where you've got to want to do it. And if someone wants to walk away, I don't think it'd be right to try and convince them to stay. But you know, there is some people that don't mind saying it now. We've got like Sonny Taylor, who's to me was a great prospect. You know what I mean? And I know he spars loads and loads of rounds with Jack Massey, and there's nothing in it. And he's a lot younger than Jack and can get better, but he's kind of on the missing list now. You feel like getting hold of him and stroking by the neck and saying, get him and get yourself sorted. You can earn yourself some good money now. But you know, I ain't chasing after him, because if something didn't go right, it was like your fault for turning around. But they've got to want it, and then they've got to apply themselves. And you know, the likes of Jazz and Jack, you know, they love the boxing, and they stayed true to themselves by kind of keeping in the gym and working away when there's nothing there. And another one, when you think of him, Lee Woods, you know what I mean? Yeah. Lee Woods could have finished with not a pot to piss in, and now he'd be a multi-millionaire. And that was just by not giving up and you know, turning the careers around. And like there's probably more sad stories than good stories from boxers, but you know, they're nice to hear, and fair play to them. Yeah.
I mean, Sonny Taylor, Steve, he's probably, people might not see Sonny because he's been on the smaller shows. He's probably, well, he's got more natural talent than what Chris Billham-Smith has. But that's what you get if you live like Chris Billham-Smith, you know?
And Sonny as well. I sat with Sonny for about 2 hours down at an event recent. Sonny's a right good laugh. He's a good lad. He can fight. He's in an area where the fans will get behind him if he actually does it, somewhere like Hull. And he always talks about doing it, but then it never happens. And it's a penalty kick, Sonny, isn't he, if he just puts his mind to it? But,
yeah.
Final round number 6. Fight this Saturday, Copper Box, fun fight. Fisher Babic. Steve, you want to discuss this one?
Yeah, well, when he phoned me before saying jump on and look at topics, I looked straight away at the fights were coming up. Oh, Saturday, I forgot all about it. Fisher and Babic, and then I'm just thinking Babic. Every time I saw him coming through, and he was building him up under, like, Dillian White was his manager. I don't know if he still is, and he was like terrible, wasn't he? He was shocking. You know, it looked like they brought him out of the bar and give him 10 pints and said, "Mate, get in there, put some gloves on." But he won the fight. He won the fight. Then he was getting beat up. He come back and won it. And you think he's only lost one now, hasn't he, in 13 fights? And Fisher's had 11 fights with 10 KOs. So you'd have to turn around and say it's going to be a KO for Fisher because of the size of him against Babic. But you know, he's shown a great chin and loads of heart. Fisher is a lot better than I thought he was when he first started off. But, you know, it could be, as you just said then, a fun fight that swings and ebbs. And I just wondered, are you guys thinking, Babic's thrown into to be smashed, or are we going to have a bit of a long fight? And if it is a long fight, it'll be great to watch because he brings it every time.
I don't think Eddie's thrown them in to be smashed. He's thrown them in to lose. But he's thrown it in for a fun fight. And it's going to be, look, while it lasts, it's going to be entertaining, whatever. And look, I've got a feeling Fisher's going to be in a few of these sort of fights over the next few years. I don't think Fisher's going to trouble the scorers at the elite level. I'm not being horrible there, but I think he's going to make a good career out of boxing. And I'm told the tickets, he's gone mad on tickets this weekend or something. Absolutely going to be rammed with. I don't know how many he sold. I mean, it was about 6,000-7,000, but Johnny Fisher's has sold half the place. I don't know if you spoke to him, John, yet on the fight. done anything. It's just going to be fun enough that these are the sort of fights we're going to be Fisher, and it's going to be entertaining. Fisher's going to win, and everyone's going to go home happy, and Eddie's going to make a nice few quid on the show as a promoter.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen, Steve. But I tell you what, if Babic is still on his 2 feet at 3 rounds, we might find out if Fisher can have a fight as well. You know, he's a big lad, he can whack. He's getting better, but no one's put it on him yet, have they? And Babic is going to put it on him. But it all comes down to whether he can take that first big right hand that Fisher's going to land on his chin after about a minute. Yeah. And if he can come through that, then who knows? You know, Fisher gas tank might explode. But it'll be good while it lasts. I just can't see it lasting particularly long.
It's a little bit talking about. We're all smiling about it. You know, it just shows these sort of fights, they do appeal. I knew it was actually, I thought it was later in the month. It was only when I checked, when you sent it through the date of it from the notes. I realised it crept up upon us. But I was told something the other week. Fisher's done some nutty business on tickets for this fight. I forget what it is. It might have personally sold $2,000 or 2,500 fans coming just for him. Unbelievable.
You know, the other thing we'll find out, Babic will hit him. You know, he'll go gung-ho on, he'll land something, Babic, and Fisher's probably not taken a proper right hand yet, has he himself? So we'll see if he can stand up, because Babic can whack a little bit. So it might all be done and dusted in 2 minutes, but I think we'll find out a lot about Fisher in them 2 minutes.
Right, but have you watched the start? It was
terrible.
Horrible, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not saying he's much better now, but it's mad that we're looking forward to a fight like that, because I just thought he's not going to last for maybe 3 or 4 fights before no one wants to.
Never went to fancy Fisher. I thought Babic, the last fight against Steve Robinson, who, you know, area title level, how he come through, I think 5 or 6 rounds with it, but he was still digging deep to come through it, wasn't he? Against Steve Robinson. And let's be fair, the poll that did him for the WBC Bridgerweight
got done in a round by a Coley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when they were lining him up at one point to fight Oscar Rivas, weren't they? That Canadian guy who Dillian White fought.
I remember when Eddie's brilliant at the hype, and when he first come onto the scene, Eddie was still talking to him, going on and dominating the heavyweight. Well, not dominating, but fighting for heavyweight titles, you know? Brilliant.
I'm trying to think what they called him, and I think it was on one of Eddie's shows in his back garden when he'd had a win and he proposed to his girlfriend, and he was talking about baby Babic's and things like that. And I just thought to myself, this could be a comedy show, this, yeah.
It's brilliant. Look, it's been good fun having around. You can't take it serious all the time. We're all serious. You know, there's a lot of serious things going on in boxing. It's a serious sport. Every so often, there's a fight that makes you smile. I'm looking at our faces here. We're smiling about this on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it. Take it for what it is. Don't knock it.
Yeah. Okay.
Fellas, Steve, thanks for coming off the subs bench. We've got one next week, then we'll have a break for summer. And we always bring you back at the end of August when we start again. So you won't be coming off the subs bench for this. You'll be telling me in how the World Takeover's going for VIP for the next season.
Well, I think we'll have some positive news for you. I'm already working on the September and October shows, and I've got penciled in for November and December as well. Yeah, so come early September when we're back, Steve. Don't do 6 3-minute rounds. Let me spiel about what's going to go on.
I think we'll do when we come back end of August. We're going to have a break after next week, and at the start of August, we're just going to let you talk, mate. Tell us that.
You'll have to get Steve to pay for the extra hour long rather than a 40-minute for that on the list.
Fellas, it's been a pleasure, as always. Thanks, everybody, for watching, listening. This has been VIP Boxing's Belt About podcast. It was the 164th episode. That's 82 hours of boxing, is that? Yeah, about 82 hours of feel from us. Fellas, thanks very much. Thanks, everyone, for watching, listening.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.